I genuinely think the main reason I am not going to be in a constant state of existential dread this year is because there is so much good media coming out this year. Shoujo anime is truly back. There is so much good stuff to look forward to in the world of books as well, and I thought, instead of telling it to you normally, why don't I deliver it to you in a haiku? Because hey, if you're new here, my name is Priyanka and I am your queer brown bestie and I'm a spoken word poet. So let's jump into these categories, and basically I'm gonna give you the haiku for each piece of media as a little teaser, and then we can jump into more deets. Starting off with anime. When a princely girl keeps getting told she is boy, other prince will prove wrong. So first up we have In the Clear Moonlit Dusk. Did you get that from the haiku? Let me know. I have seen so much hype about this online, so if you are not aware, this anime is so good. It was made for the bisexuals. It follows this first year girl called Yori Takiguchi, and she basically always gets mistaken for a boy, and she's seen as the very like princely character of the school. You know one. If you watch shoujo anime, you know exactly the character that I'm talking about, the character trope. But then she has a chance encounter with Kohaku Ichimura, and he is the other prince of the school, who is actually sex and gender wise a boy. And it's like, finally, it's her turn to be the princess. Moving on to the next recommendation slash haiku, we have Yet Another Girl is Mistaken for Boy. Hot tub vine here. I know, I'm so poetic. Because honestly, there is no better description for this show. It is Hanakimi. And in case you don't know, obviously, usually anime is based on a manga originally. And this show got a drama adaptation as well back in like the early 2000s. And oh my god, if it isn't just a bunch of men trying to pretend they're not gay.
Two bros chilling in the hot tub, 5 feet apart cause they're not.
The actual plot is so unhinged though, and we followed this girl called Mizuki, and she comes to an all-boys school basically to get close to her idol, who is the star of the high school high jump competition, because I guess that's a thing, and I guess that's important. And his name is Sano Izumi, and she finds out though after she's enrolled in this all-boys school in disguise that he's quit the high jump and he's not gonna do it. So obviously the whole plot is her trying to be like, go! This is basically the whole reason I'm here. And obviously whether or not she'll be found out as a boy, but there's lots of interesting gay shenanigans along the way. I do recommend it. Moving on, we have They Cannot See, but They Can See Each Other's Souls. This is too cute! Oh my god! This is, of course, something that I have spoken about before on my channel, actually. The Invisible Man and his soon-to-be wife, which has also just been released, but I'm still going to talk about it. Shut up. We follow Akira Tomone, who is a invisible gentleman who runs a detective agency, but he has no face. Obviously, he's completely invisible. I just said that. You know what I mean. And Shizuka is a mild-mannered blind woman who also works at the agency. Can you see where this is going? The main plot point though is that Shizuka can always find Akira, even despite him being invisible, and they can always see each other despite not being able to see other people. Do you understand the haiku now? The real question is, will I form a parasocial crush on a man that doesn't have a face or a body? We'll find out. In the meantime, moving on to the next recommendation slash haiku, gay shit will happen, but also maths. Ew. Ew. On grind set for life. So this is Isekai Office World, and the protagonist who gets transported to another fantasy kingdom is Seiichiro Kondo, who is a 29-year-old accountant. And as soon as he's transported into this other world, they're like, guy, what do you want? And he's like, I want a job in the Royal Accounting Office, because he's really been on that grind set for so long. Capitalism has really fried his brain that much that he's like, I need a job. And this really unhealthy work ethic has transferred over so much that he keeps drinking loads of these energy drinks that are toxic. What? And one day he experiences an overdose, and then he has to be healed by this Captain Knight called Arash Indolar. But because Suichiro hasn't built up a tolerance for magic yet, the healing spell actually makes things worse for him. And I will be reading directly from the Wikipedia page here. The only treatment for Arash and Suichiro is to engage in sexual activity and physical contact. I also should have mentioned, this is also a BL. Moving on, April popping off. Childhood friends are getting some. Or maybe they're not. Now we finally come to an anime that is not out yet and is actually coming out in April. April, which is I want to end this love game, and this looks so good if, like me, you like things that spin tropes on their head a bit. Basically, we followed two childhood friends, Yukiya Asagi and Miku Sakura, and they've been childhood friends for ages, and they've always had this game together where they say I love you to each other, and the one who gets flustered first is the one that loses. But now they're in high school, and obviously this game has continued, and obviously they both have feelings for each other, but obviously it's also about when are they gonna crack. So are they gonna get some? Are they not? We'll find out. Moving on to the next one. You can tell me whether or not you guessed this anime from the haiku alone. YONA, my true love! Everyone, shut the fuck up. Huck is on screen. Oh my god. Yeah, it's YONA of the Dawn season 2. Everyone and their mum knows about this by now, but if you don't, oh my god, I could not be more excited. If you're not familiar with YONA of the Dawn, basically the plot is we follow YONA, who is a princess, and it's set in this sort of like Chinese historical-esque landscape, and she's been brought up like spoiled her whole life. There is a sudden incident that forces her to flee her like pampered life as a princess, and she flees with her bodyguard slash the head knight, who is Huck. It's basically an adventure of like YONA growing stronger and like coming into her own, but also discovering a lot of secrets about her kingdom along the way, and it is so good. And finally, in anime, we have Thought This Was Risa. It's not. It's twins together touching grass outside. So this is Demons of the Shadow Realm, which is coming out in April 2026, and I am so excited because I love Fullmetal Alchemist. For context, this show is being created by the same mangaka and artist that created Fullmetal Alchemist, but I think it's quite interesting because Fullmetal Alchemist gives a bit more in the city vibes, and I think this is giving more in the country. It's essentially set in a world where humans can control this duo of like supernatural creatures called demons, and at the center of it all are two twins, Yuru and Aza, who have been separated from birth, and they have to come back to each other to find out all of these secrets about what the demons actually are and all of that stuff, and obviously to save the world as well, because it can't be a shonen without saving the world. Moving on to books, we have one that I am so excited to talk about. Here is the haiku. Poetry, magic. That's how the king survives. But women cannot read. When I saw this, I was like, this is not only the most perfect recommendation for this video, but also for me, because it's literally meant to come out on my birthday. It is The Poet Empress by Shen-Tao. It's sort of that historical fantasy crossover genre, which I've actually been really getting into recently. Basically, the emperor of the Azalea dynasty is dying, and obviously there's a big fight at the moment. I say at the moment, in the book, and they're heading towards a civil war, and there's obviously the more quiet war of like, who is going to ascend the throne next, who is going to become emperor, but there's also an even quieter battle of who is going to become the next empress. And within the book, there is an entire magic system that is based on poetry. And the protagonist, Wei Yin, is a peasant girl, and she's currently a concubine to a terrible prince. She's got no connections, no family, no title, all that. But in the shadows, in the shadow realm, she has been trying to learn a skill forbidden to women, which is obviously reading, because who wants women to be educated? Not me. So she can kill men and the emperor by composing the perfect poem. I need this in my life. For legal purposes, that was a joke. Next is another one that I am really excited about. Here's the haiku. Gaming gooners. Enemies to lovers. Yes, that's enough said. First in my bloodline to say gaming gooners on YouTube. This is Two Can Play by Ali Hazelwood, and if you do not know Ali Hazelwood, girl, where have you been? Touch wood. She's also one of the few white book talk authors that is not problematic, so I am genuinely like, thank God. But I think that haiku described it pretty well. It's set within the world of video games, if you couldn't tell from the title, and we follow Viola, that has been given the opportunity of a lifetime to design a game based on her all-time favourite book series. But the problem is, the co-lead on the project is this guy called Jesse Andrews, who is, of course, someone she hates, her hashtag arch nemesis. And their bosses insist on going away on a wintry retreat to the mountains, to a secluded cottage. You can obviously see where this is going. Will they go from gaming gooners to lovers? We'll find out. Moving on, more ETL. But it is an adventure. South Asian road trip. This book is called Enemies to Lovers by Alicia Wright. And you can tell what one of my favorite tropes is. I actually also like French. This is not a conversation because I cannot have a book list without a South Asian baddie on there. Who do you think I am? A coconut? Nah. But this plot sounds so interesting. So we follow two protagonists, obviously, Sejal Chowdhury and Krish Anand. And Sejal comes from a family of con people, so she is a con woman and she's recently tried to give all that up. Meanwhile, Krish's brother, who is in the FBI, has gone missing, and they have to team up to go on this big cross-country road trip to find him. But Krish is convinced that someone in Sejal's family is the one who has something to do with his brother's disappearance, so he convinces Sejal that his brother's badge is actually his. So he's also lying, and he's basically like, if you help me find my brother, I won't crack down on you. And Sejal's obviously like, I don't want to go to prison, let's do this. So I absolutely cannot wait for this one. Next up we have It's Giving M-Hen, 2 exes, 1 restaurant, working together. Fun fact, I actually used to work at Penguin and Emily Henry is published by Penguin. And everyone at Penguin used to call her M-Hen, which is why that is that abbreviation. I don't know if it's more popularized now. This book is The Bridge Back to You by Rhys M. Nielsen. And actually, I have been searching for authors for years.
It's been 84 years.
That I feel like replicate Emily Henry. Because the plot also sounds like an Emily Henry book. It is a second chance romance between a chef called Olivia and Carmelo, and they used to date back in the day, but Olivia was just like, listen, I have wanderlust, I'm a white girl at heart, I need to travel the world. And he inherited his late mother's restaurant, Celia's Place, but Celia's Place was also where Olivia got her start. And so they are reunited by Celia's Place and they come together, and obviously it's like, how much can they rekindle the love they had before? Next up we have the FBI, but with magical lesbians and rogue romance charms. So this is Charmed and Dangerous by Shelley Page, which is a YA sapphic romance. And in it, this teen mystic called Monroe Bennett is part of the Bureau of Mystical Affairs. And she has been tasked with stopping all of these rogue romance charms that keep happening in her high school, all of which lead to her dating the director of the Bureau's daughter, Iris, but is fake dating, obviously. And honestly, I am so excited for this one because it is really giving That's So Raven if she was a lesbian, which she is in real life. I also didn't want to make this video too long, so I have a couple honorable mentions in this category that didn't get a haiku. First up is A Witch's Guide to Love and Deception by Omna Qureshi, which is a will they won't they romance between a princess called Sonia who has left the castle and is trying to leave her life behind, and Azam, a Stitch witch who offers her a place to stay while she's on the run. And it is described as cottagecore with a Pakistani twist, and I was like, I need to read that. Next up is Bad Queer by Gayatri Kamalakantan. And I'm actually very excited for this one because I know Gayatri personally and they are a badass. It is their debut novel in verse that follows Surya, who is a non-binary teenager and is experiencing their first love. And I'm like, yes! Go Gayatri. And finally, a very quirky Japanese translation, which is called When the Museum is Closed by Emi Yagi. And it is the story of a young woman called Rika, who is a part-time museum worker who falls in love with the statue of Venus. Big up. And finally, the manga category. And first up in the manga category, we have Cinderella Tale with a brown prince. Oh my god, you need to read it. If you've seen any of my videos, I think, in the past month, you will have heard me talk about this. This is, of course, Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. First volume of the manga is coming out in January. It is kind of a Cinderella tale, but also kind of not, which is very interesting. We follow Marie, who has grown up in her family as a sort of the isolated daughter because she has red hair and she's the only one in her family who has red hair, and they see it as a curse. And she's constantly compared to her sister Anastasia, who is blonde and has like blue eyes and is like the perfect daughter. And they throw an engagement party for Anastasia to see if they can get some potential suitors for her, and in arrives my babe, Count Kyrios, and he mistakes Marie for Anastasia and sends her a proposal of marriage. And then it all pops off from there, sis. Go watch the rest of it to find out more. And if you want to know my thoughts on the representation of brown men in this anime, I have a little section about it in this video. Next recommendation, we have This Is What Happens When Otakus Fall in Love. Maybe let's ban it. So this is a manga that I haven't seen many people chat about online, which is In So Deep It's Love Already. So we start off with the main lead, who is a fangirl, who is Momoko, and she obviously has dedicated her life to her favorite idols because she's one of the girlies, and she is heartbroken. But then in her class, she sees this boy called Shuto, who is scary and snappish and is just her type. But it turns out he's not actually shy and snappish, he's a tsundere. He is easily embarrassed in front of girls. But she's caught because she's like, I'm a dedicated fangirl, he is popular, I want to show him around. But as she gets to learn more about him and why he is a tsundere, she's like, oh my god, for me only please. Which I feel like is a very relatable struggle. And finally we have, this proves war is gay. He wasn't dead, lol, surprise, your lover is back. This is another manga I've not seen many people chat about online, but it's BL, about two elite soldiers who are in love, Uru and Tenyo, but then Uru goes off to war and seemingly he dies. And so for the past 2 years, Tenyo's been mourning his loss. But then one day, Tenyo infiltrates enemy territory and he sees someone who looks a lot like Uru, and he's like, girl, who are you? Why are you impersonating my dead lover? And he's like, actually, are we? Did we? And it's meant to be very cool, very Apothecary Diaries as well, because it's also set in this Chinese historical backdrop. So if you're also looking for something to read while you're waiting for his Apothecary Diaries season 3, this might be it. But if you're like, I need more recommendations, Priyanka, don't worry, I got you. You can check out this video here for book recommendations in a range of genres that give that like autumn, wintry, cozy vibe, perfect for this time of the season. Or if you want diverse romance reads, you can check out my ultimate romance diverse reading list here. But let me know in the comments if you plan on reading any of these, what your most anticipated 2026 reads or watches are. I would love to see you write some of your own haikus in the comments as well if you feel up to it. But since you've also gotten to the end of this video, I just want to say genuinely thank you so much. This year has been so lovely for me on YouTube. We hit 1,000 subscribers and I feel really grateful and really blessed to be here, so thank you. Just wanted to add that on. But as always, and as we enter this year together, I hope you are having a lovely day, and I will see you over there in the next video.